The story begins in a massive building where a news broadcast is playing. It's breaking news. After 13 hours of intense meetings, a decision has finally been made. The Samyang Group has appointed its new chairman. John Shin-duk has officially been chosen as the CEO. Unlike other third-generation chairmen who stepped down due to scandals or poor management, CEO John Shin-duk isn't like them. This man is Johnny, the new CEO of Samyang Group. Hearing this news, Sang starts laughing and says, "Yes, that's right. Keep praising me. I'm the king of Samyang Group." He reflects on how much effort he put in to reach this point. Studying abroad, working out, keeping his foolish siblings in check, handling his uncle's mess, and managing his arranged marriage partner. He did it all perfectly. He even built himself a flawless public image. Everything went exactly as planned. Becoming the master of Samyang Group was only natural. He declares, "All right, this is a new beginning. And now that I'm finally CEO, the first thing I'll do is kick out that punk Tagu's disciple from the company." But right then his phone slips from his hands and drops to the ground. He starts gasping for air. It flashes in his mind that his grandfather, the founder of Samyang Group, had also died of a heart attack. He panics, saying, "No, this can't be happening to me. Someone like me doesn't die from a simple heart attack." But his story doesn't end there. Instead of dying, he reincarnates as a baby, and not just any baby, but one born into a poor family. He's completely shocked and starts screaming. His new parents try to calm him down. After a while, he finally settles down. His mom lovingly says, "Isn't our saying Wook just the cutest? She's only 21 years old." His dad, Yayong, is 23. The dad agrees. He's even cuter than most celebrity babies. His mom adds, "Our Sean is lucky to be born so handsome." But Sean is thinking something completely different. Internally, he screams, "Lucky? Are you kidding me?" He spits out his pacifier in anger and thinks, "What is happening to me? My perfect body, 1883 centimeters tall, weighing 75 kilos with a 500-kilo total lift in the big three. Where did it all go?" He looks at his tiny baby form and groans. "What am I now? This weird little creature barely taller than 3 heads stacked together. I was from a prestigious, powerful family. I had an elite body but perfect resume. I was John Sang-guk of Samyang Group, and now I'm just some poor family's baby." His new parents are basically a young couple in their 20s. They come from orphanage backgrounds and have absolutely nothing. From now on, we'll refer to this baby as Seong. He remembers, "I was just celebrating with my favorite wine. 1 bottle costs 4 million won." Just then his mom says, "All right, time for milk." His young panics. "Wait, no. Now I've got to drink this cheap formula milk." But he's in a baby's body, and babies can't say no to milk. He starts crying as he drinks. His dad kisses him on the cheeks, and Sean thinks a men shouldn't show this much affection. Dying on the best day of my life, turning into a baby. Everything just feels miserable. But honestly, the hardest thing is dealing with these two. They're so clingy, so lovey-dovey. It's unbearable. Yet there's something about being cared for like this. Something I've never felt before. We see a flashback of his original parents. They never gave him proper attention. They'd always say, "Handle your responsibilities yourself. Take care of your younger siblings." Basically, he never had real parents growing up. Back to the present, he says, "Now's not the time to get sentimental." His dad asks, "Are you getting sleepy after eating?" Seong thinks, "Wait, oh right, I'm a baby now." He internally complains, "How can I possibly sleep right now? But in a baby's body, you can't fight sleep." His dad whispers, "Looks like he's falling asleep." And Seong decides, "Fine, I'll sleep for now. I'll deal with all of this tomorrow." He drifts off and his dad says, "Good. While he's sleeping, you should rest too." Seong's mom replies, "No, we should work together. You still have to leave for your job soon." He says, "Just relax, watch some TV." He turns on the TV and the news is still on. This time it's reporting a scandal. Samyang Group's chairman John Josh is accused of accepting bribes. The chairman himself has come forward to answer the press. As soon as Sang hears the company's name, he suddenly wakes up and sits straight. His mom gasps, "Honey, did you see that?" R.C. Young sat up all on his own. But C. Young is panicking inside. "This can't be. That's my grandfather, but he's supposed to be dead. This boy, he's been reborn in the past, but into someone else's family." The news continues. Seong sits close to the TV, watching carefully. He clearly remembers this moment. When he was 10 years old, his grandfather was caught giving bribes. The people who feared their power took advantage of the situation. They started calling their company a shady corporation that runs on bribes. What nonsense, he thinks. Money is power, and connections, they're superpowers. Thinking you can become rich just by saving money, that's a poor man's dream. His parents are overjoyed that their baby is starting to sit up on his own. But Shang recalls clearly before the prosecution his grandfather told him to crash into his wheelchair. It was all staged to gain public sympathy, but for Shang that moment had felt like a brand new beginning. That was the day I proved to the entire world that I was a true successor of Jin Seong. After my grandfather and my father, it was my turn. But at that moment, the one pushing my grandfather's wheelchair was my younger brother, Jin Taegu. I thought to myself, that foolish, greedy little brother. He went abroad to study, but only managed to become an addict. He spent his whole life trying to take a place. The real issue wasn't that I had turned into a child, or even that I had traveled back to the past. It was that my fate, my position, my everything had been ripped away from me. Tears began to fall from my eyes. Later that night, my mom brought me some apple juice, but I knocked it away in anger and turned back to the TV. A moment later, my dad walked in and said, "Honey, I'm home." My boss gave me all the leftover meat from work. He works as a chef at a nearby restaurant. He smiled and said, "I'll whip up something delicious." But my mom stopped him and pointed at me, saying, "Our son's still watching TV." She added, "He only watches the news. If we change the channel, he starts crying." My dad said, "Leave it to me. Daddy's home, cutie. How about you stop watching TV and play with Daddy instead?" But I grabbed his finger tightly and thought, "Turn the TV back on." My poor dad looked a bit downhearted. In my head, I was thinking, I don't have time for distractions. I need as much information as possible about my grandfather's Sam Jung group and how to get back to my original body. But right then, my mom turned off the TV. She said, "That's enough. You haven't eaten anything all day. It's time for food and rest." I started crying, thinking, "Let me go." Do you even realize how hard I worked to secure my place as some gym group successor? Am I really going to lose everything to Taegu? I need to get my position back. My mom started patting me gently and said, "Be a good boy, Xiangu. Get some rest now. I'll let you watch TV again tomorrow." I thought to myself, maybe I really am starting to lose my mind because I'm a baby. My emotions are everywhere and my thoughts are getting blurry. Every time this woman pats my back, I just fall asleep without even noticing. And with that, I fell asleep. My dad came in and said he's finally asleep. "Has been like this all day. That must have been hard on you." My mom replied, "I'm worried about Seong. He's almost 1 year old now, but he hasn't called us Mom or Dad even once. All he does is watch the news. I don't know much about parenting and it scares me. What if I'm raising him the wrong way?" My dad gently said, "Sweetheart, even if we don't know much, our love for him is real. That's what matters. Don't worry. Our son will grow up just fine. We just need to have faith in Shang." For the past few days, I've been pretending to sleep just so I could secretly watch the news, but nothing useful came up. The world's moving like nothing happened, and I'm still stuck in this baby's body. What kind of life is this? Just then his mom walked in and asked, "What's wrong? You're not watching TV today. Don't you want the news anymore?" Shang sighed and replied, "I give up." She smiled and said, "Then how about going on a walk with Mommy? Let's go to the market and buy some groceries. The weather's really nice today." Before they leave, the landlady at the building showed up. Shang's mom greeted her warmly. "Miss Landlord heading to work." Shang's mom wished her a good day. Shang thought to himself, the owner of this building. She's surprisingly young. They made their way to the market. "We're here, Shang," his mom said cheerfully. "This market sells bean sprouts for 101 cheaper. I'll make some delicious bean sprout soup today." Shang thought to himself, "Wow, she really talks a lot. Not that it matters. I'm still stuck drinking formula milk." Suddenly, a heavy metal beam from a nearby construction site came crashing down toward them. Both Shang and his mom noticed, but it was too late. His mom instinctively shielded him with her body taking the full impact herself. She whispered, "Sang-guk, I'll protect you." Shang was unharmed, but he cried out, "Mom, no, you can't die, Mom." His mother was rushed to the hospital. "Prepare for emergency surgery," the doctor shouted. "Does she have any other conditions?" At that moment, her eyes opened. "You're awake," said her husband. "Are you feeling okay?" She looked around confused. "Where am I? Sang-guk, where's Shang?" "He's right here," he said. "Thanks to you, he's safe, but he's been really scared ever since you got hurt." She looked at her son and said, "Sang, you must have been so scared. But I'm okay. Mommy's just fine. I'm happy that my little Xiangu is safe." Hearing this, Shang broke into tears. This was awful. Just awful, he thought. "Do you even realize how precious your life is? What would we have done if something had happened to you?" Just then his mom said, "Honey, this place looks like a private hospital room. Why'd you get something so expensive? I'm not in that bad shape. Her husband looked a bit shy. They said you need complete rest. Complete rest? She asked. Why? He hesitated. And then we see the label on the hospital bed. It reads strict bed for pregnant mothers. That's right. Shang's going to have a little brother or sister. They all shared a beautiful, happy moment together. Then a nurse entered the room and said, "Excuse me, visiting hours are almost over." Shang's dad replied, "Yes, I was just about to leave." He turned to his wife and added, "Make the most of this time and rest. I'll be back tomorrow." She smiled and said, "Take care of yourself and see Yang too." He picked up Shang and the two of them headed home. On the way, he said, "All right, Sayang. Time to head back. The bus stops near our place, but it's not that far. We can walk." We see his worn-out shoes. This man works so hard, Shang thought. So now we don't even have money for the bus. Can't even afford the fare. This family's really struggling. But then he looked again. A father who works tirelessly to support his family. A mother who would risk her life to protect her child. And finally Shang softly called him Dad. His father froze for a second, then beamed with joy. Shang thought, these people are my real family now. They're my parents. A week later, we see the family celebrating. His mom has been discharged from the hospital, and they're taking pictures of Shang. She smiles and says, "Our little Shanggu looks so adorable, doesn't he? How is he this cute and perfect?" But Shang, watching all of this, was angry inside. He thought, is this really the time to celebrate? You struggled so hard just to pay the hospital bills, even saved on bus fare. When every penny counts, you should have ignored things like a first birthday celebration. The old me would have yelled at them for wasting money like this. But now I get it. This is love. The kind of love you can't buy with money. The kind of love where someone's willing to risk their life for someone else. Thinking that Shang finally joined in and started enjoying the moment, in his mind, he said, the day Mom was in the hospital, I made a decision. I have to do something. My parents aren't going to escape poverty on their own. They have no idea how to invest or plan financially. They're not even in a position to save. They have to scrape together cash for even the basics. And soon a huge economic crisis coming. At least it is in the future. I know. Right then the doorbell rang. It was their landlady Mong at the door. She said, "I heard you got discharged, so I came to check on you. Also about your baby. Have you ever thought about making him a child actor?" In the next scene, we see Shang's mom taking him to the audition. She says, "So this is where the audition is happening." Shang looks around and thinks, not bad. Looks like they spent a decent amount of money setting this up. His mom turns to him and says, "What should I do now? I don't think I came here by mistake." Shang responds in his mind, "You're talking about this opportunity. This is golden for me." Then we flash back to a past scene. The lander had told them, "The company I work for got a project for a commercial with a famous business group. Right now we're holding auditions for a child actor role. Your son is very good looking, and I think he's got talent." Back to the present. Shang gives a mischievous smile and laughs. See, people who are meant for success, they can't help but succeed. This is my chance to make money. Then we get another glimpse of his past. He says, "I grew up surrounded by cameras, makeup, lighting, framing. These were basic skills for me. People always compared me to actors. Said I'd make a great one. An audition like this, I'll crush it. I'll win the prize, the money, all of it." He laughs himself full of confidence. Then he adds, "I'll invest the money I make." Suddenly another woman yells at Kongs, "What are you doing? Why aren't you going inside?" His mom replies politely, "Why don't you go in first?" Now they're in the elevator. Shang glares at the rich woman and her child. His mom smiles and says, "Your son is adorable." The nanny responds, "He's our young master." But the woman interrupts and snaps, "Don't talk to us." "Got it? You're here for the audition too, right? Trying to increase the competition." She smirks and adds, "We'll go ahead and try, but my kid's going to be selected either way." Hearing that, Kong gets furious and glares at her. She looks back at him and mutters, "Why is this baby staring at me like that?" Siang thinks, look at her head to toe in luxury brands, treating her nanny like a servant. Textbook rich lady behavior. But just wait. I'll destroy you in the audition. The scene shifts to the audition hall. There are other kids waiting too. Shang's mom says, "This doesn't look easy." But Shang replies in his head, "It's not hard either. This is just a simple camera test. They're just checking how we look on screen. If you can act a little, even better. But the issue is these hot lights. Kids can't handle them for long, right?" Then the director calls up the rich lady's son. The assistant director says, "Oh, you're the wife of the CEO of Duke Pong Paper, right?" Shang hears that, thinks, "Duke Pong Paper?" So they're from that family? Their company's doing okay, I guess, but they're way below mine. He looks over with a dangerous glare and thinks, let's see how good your son really is. The assistant director asks the boy to smile for the camera, but he gets scared and starts crying. The assistant says, if he keeps crying like this, we won't be able to continue. The rich woman snaps, what are you saying? He'll stop crying. Just wait a second. The assistant replies calmly, but other kids are waiting too. The woman yells, what's the rush? Can't you people wait? Right then the director says, next child, Shang. Shang's mom says, we're here, and helps him onto the stage. His audition is about to begin, but the rich lady suddenly barges in and shoves Mom aside. Move! I want to see this, she says. Shang, now fired up, thinks, yeah, you should watch carefully. I'll show you exactly how I get selected. He starts acting, and the director is immediately impressed. Get my camera quick. Bring my camera, the director shouts. Siang, look here. Look this way. They begin snapping side-angle shots and giving him pose directions. Cute pose. Yeah, just like that. Amazing. This kid, he's a genius. We have to take him, he adds. Shang's mom watches in awe, thinking, Ryanguk, he really is a genius. The director comes over and says, I'm Director Kwaku. Your son is incredible. We'd like to sign a contract right away. Do you have any conditions? Shang's mom is still in shock. She says, Director, is my Shang-Luk really talented? All of this? It's so new to me. The director says, sorry, I guess I just got a little too excited. Of course Shang has talent. He wasn't just naturally confident in front of the camera. He was actually paying attention to everything I was saying, like he really understood it all. And in fact, Shang was understanding everything. The director continues, I'm genuinely excited to work with him. But right then the rich woman snaps. What the hell is going on here? The final audition hasn't even happened yet, and you all are acting like the winner's already been decided. That's not fair. I refuse to accept anyone else as the winner except for Jowie. Then we see the final list of candidates. Shang and the rich lady's son Zhao are both selected. One of the staff members asked them to wait. The woman still visibly irritated. Shang's mom says our Shang made it to the finals, and there are so many adorable and talented kids here. But even then, Shang stood out the most. Am I actually getting nervous? Jowie's nanny comments, is something wrong? Shang's mom replies, I just need to use the restroom. The nanny says, give me the baby. Go quickly. Shang's mom leaves. The nanny looks at Sayang and says, the more I look at him, he really does seem like a happy kid. Hearing that, the rich woman explodes. Are you serious? I'm already furious that they're even comparing Jowie to this kid. Do you want to lose your job? If you like him so much, why don't you go raise him yourself? The nanny immediately apologizes. Shang hears all this and he's fuming. He thinks, look at the way she talks. I really wish I could slap her. That would be so satisfying. Right then, the assistant director walks over and asks, is Guardian here? The rich woman, pretending to help, says, nope, she's not here yet. You can speak freely. Shang starts getting suspicious. Suddenly, the woman yells at the assistant director. Seriously, are we really going to go with that kid? Xiaoyi was already decided as the winner, wasn't he? The assistant director replies, yes, ma'am, that's true. Shang hears that and realizes something's off here. Actually, everything is off. This whole thing's rigged. The winner was already chosen before the auditions even began. The rest of the kids were just being used as props to make the real winner look better. It was all planned. The assistant director says, ma'am, please calm down. If the director finds out, it could cause problems. The woman scoffs. The director, he doesn't know who our family is. The people above already made the decision. What's he going to do? The assistant replies, they've won a lot of international awards. Even the higher-ups can't touch the director right now, but either way, he cannot find out about this. You prepared Jahi for the final audition, haven't you? The woman says, of course I did. I even hired a private acting coach so he could rehearse properly. The assistant director nods. Good, that's all we need. After all, that other kid isn't going to outperform Jawi. She walks over to Jawi and says, all right, Jawi, how about we go over the lines one more time? Repeat after me. Shang gives a small smile. Then the final audition begins. The director announces the winner will be the one who can say the lines most naturally. Shang looks at his mom and says, don't worry, I've got this. The director calls action. Shang thinks to himself, how do they react on set during shoots? Direction counts as part of the score. I have to position myself just right for the camera angles. And with that, Shang heads straight toward the camera and the director, while Joey instead walks toward his mom. His mom quickly says, "No, Jawahi, not this way," and toward the camera. The director watches and says, "Should we just skip Jawahi and start with Shang's test?" The assistant director agrees, have him say the lines. She thinks to herself, Jahi practiced, but this other kid, he doesn't know anything. He's definitely going to mess it up. She's just about to prompt Shang when he suddenly starts speaking, and he says the lines in the cutest, most perfect way. The director smiles and says, "Just as I expected. Shang never disappoints. My eyes weren't wrong." But at that moment, the rich woman steps forward and insists, "Just give Jawi one more try." The director knows she's pushy, so he gives in. "Okay, Jawi, can you try saying daddy for us?" But instead of speaking, Jawi starts crying. It's a total embarrassment. The woman says, "This doesn't make sense. I trained him for this." The director turns sharply and says, "What did you just say?" And the assistant director shuts everything down. The audition is over. "Thank you, everyone." Shang, smiling, says, "There's nothing you can do now. I've already won." But moments later, the rich lady's kid is announced as the winner. Well, of course that happened. Shang's mom protests to the assistant director. "That can't be right. My Shang performed amazingly," the assistant replies. "Just because a child acts cute doesn't mean they're fit to be a child actor." Then the rich woman walks back over and sneers. "You thought you could win with just a little charm? Do you even know your place? A second place finish is more than enough for a low-class kid like yours. I'm sure you worked really hard, but that's life." She walks off. Shang's mom, angry, says, "How could she say that in front of my child?" But Shang looks completely calm. He tells her to relax and says, "Everything went exactly the way I expected if my calculations are right." Just then the director comes running over. He says to Shang's mom, "Can we talk for a minute?" Then we get a flashback. When Shang first heard that Guy was already chosen as the winner, Shang narrates, "The moment I found that out, I changed my plan. In my past life, I saw too many of these kinds of corrupt setups. You can't beat people who've already bought their way to the top. So if losing is inevitable, what's the point of fighting? A real businessman always plays the long game, and that game's connections." Back in the present, the director says, "I wanted to speak with you. I'm sure this has come as a surprise. It really seems like they rigged the audition. I'm sorry, Shang. I didn't want you to see this nonsense." Shang, smiling brightly, says, "So what's next?" The director invites them to the commercial shoot happening the next week. Shang beams and thinks, "That's exactly what I wanted. I don't want to be a one-time commercial model. If I impress the director, that means connections. Then I'll keep getting child roles, become a child star, and eventually rich. That's the goal. I need to secure a stable and consistent source of income. With a commercial like this, you can do anything. I'm going to win the director over, and then I'll make tons of money, and with that money, I'll support my family." Shang's mom asks, "Why do we need to come to commercial shoot?" The director explains, "For baby models, we always prepare 1 or 2 backups in case the main kid gets sick. Honestly, we're worried. The current winner cries way too easily." Well, of course he does. The director holds Zhang's mom's hand and says, "Please just help us out this one time." Shang's mom says, "I just wonder, will Shang really be okay?" And Shang replies, "Of course I'll be fine. Just say yes to them." You could practically see the dollar signs in his eyes. This kid is seriously greedy. The director laughs and says, "It really feels like he understands everything we're saying. If all kids were like Si-young, my job would be a whole lot easier. By the way, ma'am, could you give me your contact info? I'd love to work with Xian on future projects, too. Here's my business card." Shang's mom gives him their home number. Then the scene jumps to 1 week later on the day of the shoot. Shang's mom brings him to the set and says, "I can't believe there's such a beautiful place like this in the forest." Just then the assistant director shows up and instantly gets angry. That's the same corrupt assistant director. She looks at Shang and says, "Why is this kid staring at me like that? Anyway, let me show you to the waiting room. You're here as the backup, right?" "That's what the director told me." "This way, please." Shang's eyes wander over to a washing machine. It's a product made by his family's company, Samsung John Turbo Washer. He thinks this product was a massive hit. The revolutionary drum system made Samsung John's stock prices soar. Grandpa was so proud of it. Is this commercial about that? Right then, that rich woman storms in and yells, "Why are they here? They already lost." But this time, Shang's mom doesn't hold back. She says, "The director called us here as the backup models, and please don't use that kind of language in front of the children." The woman snaps, "Why do we even need backup models?" The assistant explains, "In case Joey suddenly gets sick, we'll need a backup ready." The woman fires back, Joey doesn't need any of that. What's so hard about this commercial anyway? He's in perfect condition. Yeah, well, he sure doesn't look like it, she mutters. Anyway, you people are useless. Just go sit quietly in the corner. Then a woman walks in. It's the lead actress, Semi.